This is what's going on as it stands in our industry. The Premier League, EFL and Serie A are suspended until April the 3rd. Now, the Premier League will meet on Thursday to discuss the season's future. UEFA have suspended next week's Champions League and Europa League matches. They're going to meet on Tuesday to discuss that possibility of postponing Euro 2020. Bundesliga suspends this weekend's matches. They're going to meet on Monday to decide whether or not to postpone until April the 2nd. Ligue 1 is suspended indefinitely. La Liga, Eredivisie is suspended for the next 2 match days. MLS suspends season for the next 30 days. Let's welcome Julien Laurens into the show. Jules, let's talk about this meeting that the Premier League are going to have on Thursday. Obviously, it's all kind of conjecture at the moment, but what are you expected for them to discuss and what conclusions do you think they'll reach?
So I think the conclusion won't be reached on Thursday. I think there will be many more meetings, many more debates on what to do next, really. They're doing it on Thursday because they want to wait for Tuesday's UEFA meetings and knowing a bit more what's going to happen with the Euros, with the Champions League and the Europa League. And then from there, take it from there, basically, between themselves and see what's the best option, what kind of direction you want to go to. Because obviously there's more than just one option, more than just one scenario of what can happen next. For example, we could not play maybe any football between now and September, like a few clubs seem to believe. The season could resume maybe, let's say, in June, and then we finish the season and the Champions League and the Europa League. Instead of playing the Euros, we then will be moved to another date. And in that case, this season 1920 finishes, and then we start the next one maybe with a little delay. That's another option. Some clubs, West Ham is the first one officially to announce that they would like the season to be completely null and voided, to mean that basically 1920 didn't count, never counted. There's no champions, there's no relegation, there's no promotion, there's nothing, and we go again next year with the same teams. Obviously, Liverpool and a few others will be completely against that. So you can expect a lot of debates, a lot of controversy, a lot of arguments before we can reach a solution.
What will happen, Jules? Will there be a vote? Who decides it amongst these Premier League clubs?
Well, you would think that the 20 Premier League clubs will have to vote for some sort of resolution and that the majority will win, if you want. So, for example, let's say, Liverpool are crowned champion, but the season stops here and the top 4 are the ones qualifying for the Champions League, the bottom 3 are the one, going down, that kind of thing. Then you would need at least half of the clubs to vote for it, and then the majority will win, and that's what we would do. I think that would be the best way. However, it's obviously far more complicated than that because, let's not forget, there's also a lot of financial implication in whatever is going to happen next because there's still a lot of games to be played home and away, so you lose out on money. The TV rights would not be paid if those games are not scheduled, not played, and not on television. Obviously, same for the European competition. So for some clubs, there's a lot of money to lose there, and or at least not to be made. So again, you would have to take that in consideration as well. So I think if there's a resolution put on the table, the clubs will vote for it. If there's a majority, that could be accepted. But it might be even more complicated. We could go 2/3. We'll have to vote for it. There's a lot of things, obviously, because there's no protocol. That's the big thing. Because nothing like this ever happened before, there's no protocol. I mean, I think there was an example in Chile last season with the riots where the league was ended 6 games before the end, which maybe they could have a bit of inspiration from. But again, it's never seen before, so it'd be very hard to find a protocol.
It's interesting you mentioned the financial implications, and from a Premier League's perspective, obviously there's a lot of discussion about the Euros and what's going to happen there. But aren't the Premier League in charge of their players in a sense that, I tell you what, when this resolves itself, we are going to play this league until it ends. I don't care about the Euros. I don't care about what commitments you have internationally because we pay the wages of the players, and therefore, surely we can decide what we're going to do and kind of disregard what UEFA want.
Yes, you're right. And I believe the 55 federation that will meet, not physically, but that will be together over the phone on Tuesday morning with UEFA, that's what each of them will say. Hang on a minute. Our leagues have to have the priority here ahead of the Euros and ahead of whatever UEFA wants to do because, like you said, the bread and butter of all those players and of all football really right now is the leagues, not the European Championship where only a few countries will be represented. So I think that would be the stance from the club point of view. UEFA obviously will try to negotiate in the best way for them, which you understand. And financially, you're right. There's also another point that is very interesting is what you do with financial fair play. Because let's say that there's no Champions League games anymore, or there's no football left in this season at all. A lot of clubs will say, hang on a minute, what do I put in my accounts then? Because it's not my fault if we miss out on 50, 60, 70 million euros more than what we're going to have. So do we still have to balance the book, although we lost that money, but not of our own fault? So UEFA will also have to have an opinion on that, on saying, okay, you know what, maybe for next season, financial fair play is voided because we can't try to balance the books and ask clubs to do that if they miss out on some money because of coronavirus. It would be stupid to do that.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.